So what are we doing tonight? We're going to do a couple of lovely dishes. First one we're going to start off with is doing a mushroom strudel. And a strudel, don't be intimidated with the word. It's just a very, very simple wild mushroom cooked in phyllo pastry. We're going to do a beautiful goat's cheese puff pizza. Absolutely gorgeous. Show you to make ratatouille. And also we're going to do one of my favourite dishes is the braised blade of beef. And we're going to talk all about the secondary cuts and lesser used cuts. And Michael's going to come up and just talk through, a couple of different cuts to give you different options when you go into a shop. This is a beautiful dish, fantastic, one of our best-selling dishes in the restaurant. Where I come from, everyone, is a small village in Blacklion, County Cavan. It's a good spin from here, and I know I get a lot of customers from this part of the world. Cork has to be one of my strongest counties for demos for customers coming to the restaurant. So we're about nearly 5 hours from here. Myself, my wife Imelda, and the whole team in the restaurant, and I'm a twin, but my wife is expecting twins. Do you know that? Yeah? Can you believe that? So life is going to change for the better, and we're very excited. I've never changed a nappy, God knows. But anyway, so in February she's due, and she's in fantastic form. She still comes in and works in the restaurant, and we have 45 staff working for us now in Blacklion, in a small village which is only maybe about 300 or 400 people, and the rest of it has been a phenomenal success, but it's all about the team. I'm joined here with Olivia and John tonight, and I want to thank them because they set everything. I only got here about 4 o'clock today, so they had everything ready for me, and I want to really just thank the two of them for organising that. They came down yesterday. So we're closed Monday, Tuesday, we're open from Wednesday to Sunday, and business has never been better. Every weekend has gone until next July. Next July, guys. That's incredible. I remember being in my restaurant, and our restaurant closed from 73 to 89. Yeah, and our house was bombed twice during the Troubles. So we've seen bad years, we've seen good years, and now we're having our best year ever. So we're very grateful, and we're so lucky for that. And it's all about the team. I have a great team. I have 12 chefs in my kitchen, and Olivia is one of them. And that's it. You're only as good as the team, myself, my wife. And I suppose my mother started the whole thing. She's a brilliant cook, and my mother is she just taught me really to learn and love and respect food, and that's what it's all about. Food is about sharing. It's a family, and we eat every day. We have to eat, but to share an experience, that's very, very special. I'm from a big family of 9, 5 boys, 4 girls, so we've good fun when we're all together. My twin brother just got engaged 2 weeks ago, so I'm very happy about that. So yeah, it took him a long time, but anyway, he got there. But my mother's very well at the minute. She's going through lung cancer treatment, but she's in great form. And she's so positive, and I just spoke to her on the phone coming down. I was telling her I was in Ballymaloo and all that, and I'll probably see her maybe tomorrow night or Thursday. But we're a very close family, and that's very, very special. And where I got my love was from my mother. She taught me to cook, and one of the first recipes I ever made was using Flavin's oats, flapjacks, and shortbread and scones in the kitchen, and I made an absolute mess. But I always knew I wanted to be a chef. I love what I do. I love talking about food. I love eating it, as you can see. And I love the whole subject of food. So the first thing we're going to do is start off by doing what we call a duxelle. It's very, very simple. And all the recipes I think you're going to find very, very useful, very easy to cook at home. This is a super product. And I want to thank Thomas. He came the whole way down from Donegal tonight. And Michael sells this in the shop. This is Rapeseed Oil. This is probably the most successful product in Ireland at the minute. And it's he's a local producer to me. And it's one of the healthiest oils you can cook with. It's the rapeseed oil, lowers your cholesterol, full of the good omega oils, and I've stopped using olive oil in my kitchen. This is what I'm using. Because we are so lucky we can produce our beautiful rapeseed oil in Ireland. And trust me, when you go to cooking with this, whether you're frying, stir frying, vinaigrettes, salad dressings, marinades, deep frying, it's fantastic. Absolutely superb. You're going to see I'm going to use this for every single recipe tonight. So roughly about a couple of tablespoons of that. And Thomas is over there, so you can get the taste, and if you want to purchase the bottle, if you don't get time tonight, Michael's selling them down in the shop. So this is, it's a fantastic product, it really is. I couldn't say enough about it. So for our strudel, everyone, we're going to get cooking it, all right? Get the pan nice and hot. And that's another thing about this oil, it doesn't burn. It's much healthier than sunflower, vegetable. This is the healthiest oil you can cook with, and it gets a higher smoke temperature. So that's really, really important when you're cooking. So first of all, we're going to put in 1 onion, which is diced. Some garlic. Does anyone not eat garlic here? Oh God, you were very quick. Straight up like that. Okay, just one person? Is that it? 2, 3, keep the hat. Come on. I know you. Come on now. Do you not eat garlic? Sure? You don't like the taste, or it makes you sick?
I don't like the taste.
You don't like the taste. Okay, you wouldn't believe how many foods garlic is in, and you've eaten and you don't realise. It's unbelievable. I'm telling you, garlic is in so many things. So when you're making this, the whole point of this is If I'd have asked this room maybe 10 years ago, I bet you half of everyone said, no, I don't like that stuff. I remember when my mother was cooking in the kitchen, she'd be cooking off onion and garlic for pate. And my oldest brother used to say, geez, what's that awful smell? I hate it. And now he absolutely adores garlic. So garlic's one of these addictive things that when you cook with it, you know, and I've only had 1 or 2 customers since I've been cooking that come and say, they can't eat it, they'll be sick. You know, unbelievable. So if you don't like it, leave it out. 1 onion goes into the pan. Okay, 2 cloves of garlic. Olivia has that chopped. A good tip here with garlic, and you may have heard this, is if garlic is going green in the centre, it means it's beginning to sprout. You simply take the green out and throw that out. That will give you a cramp in your stomach. So that's a little tip for you. You wouldn't have known that. Certainly I didn't. It was a French chef who told me that. In goes the butter. The butter gives brilliant flavour. And we produce, I think, the best butter in the world, the best cream milk, and we'll talk about that later on. But in Germany, they eat 3 times the amount of butter. They're the biggest consumers of Irish butter in Europe. They absolutely love it, so they do. They see it as healthy, natural, and good for you. And I suppose when I was doing the travelling for the programme last year, Home Chef, I don't know, did you see it? Oh, thank God. Okay. But it was incredible to see how loved and respected Irish food is. It is incredible, guys. You have no idea. And I interviewed chefs. This is some spring onion we're going to put in here. And all the chefs couldn't believe the green, natural image we have. Tomorrow morning, I'm going to Killarney after this tonight. I'm interviewing a Kerry farmer who produces Kerry lamb, and I'm producing a milk producer who produces milk for Cadbury. Sorry, I nearly lost the train of thought. So it's really inspiring for me, and you just as a chef, you feel so proud. We're going to talk about the beef, and we have the best beef and meat anywhere in the world. So we have a selection of mushrooms. They're not classed as wild, but more exotic. We have some shiitake. In Cavan we call these shitty mushrooms, but no, they're called shiitake, and these can be grown. Honestly, these are grown in Ireland. We have shiitake, we have oyster. Oyster, beautiful in the stir fry, and this is a new one that we've been using probably for the last year. It's called a beach mushroom, but the proper name of this is called sashimi mushroom. Sashimi mushroom, and these again are grown in Ireland, and these ones are very different. And a few people were laughing at these, and you'll see them in some Asian. A lot of these mushrooms originate in Asia, whether it's Japan, China, all that. They love their mushrooms. They absolutely, and these have so much flavour. But you can get the big breakfast mushroom, the chestnut mushroom. These have beautiful flavour. This mushroom here, everyone, is known as Enoki Mushroom. Enoki Mushroom. Absolutely beautiful. And you can eat these raw. They're fantastic. Absolutely beautiful. We serve them with a little ravioli of crab, a little bit of pak choy on one of our menus. So I'm going to put the mushrooms into the pan. We've already sweated off. We're not looking for colour. The onion, the spring onion, and the garlic. In goes the oyster, the shiitake, the beach mushroom, or the other name is called sashimi. Can I give you that, Olivia? Thank you. So you'll buy little pre-packs of these in any good vegetable shop, supermarket. Just look for them. They're called exotic mushrooms. Now, let this cook out. I'm going to put a good pinch of salt in here. And then we're going to put some black pepper. It's one thing mushrooms love is black pepper and butter. Work fantastic. Okay, so lots of nice black pepper. So any kind of mushrooms, whatever's in season. Usually we would get wild mushrooms in, and they come in from France, usually from a company called Montiel. And it comes through a market just outside Paris called Rungis. Rungis is the biggest market in Europe, and we have to pre-order them every single week. So these aren't them, but the actual wild mushrooms. Girolles, chanterelles, ceps, lots of different mushrooms that we can get every single week, but we have to pre-order them. Okay, everyone, we're going to put this into a strudel in a few minutes, but a good tip for you if you want to make stuffing. You put more butter in, say about a tablespoon of butter, 1/4 pint of stock, let that cook down, stir in your breadcrumbs, and you have the most delicious mushroom spring onion stuffing you'll taste. Absolutely gorgeous. Now, Laura holding for the... Okay, thank you very much. Good man, John. Okay. Now, he just left up a love note to me. Okay. Sorry, John. Anyway, that's the man who bought down my unit yesterday and set up the whole thing, so thanks a million, John. So this technique is known as the sweat off. I'm happy with that. Doesn't mean they're cooked. They're going to go into the oven. But if I put this if I put this hot into filo pastry, it's going to be a disaster. So we don't want that. I'm going to give you that, and be careful of your hands. Let that cool down. Smells gorgeous. You can add lots of other herbs if you want to put in some chopped parsley. Actually, would you chop a wee bit of parsley and sprinkle it in? And you could use basil, thyme, whatever. Mushrooms love rosemary, thyme. They work so well. So we're happy enough with that. That's the first stage of the strudel. We'll come back to that in a few minutes. Next thing we're going to do is we are going to cook our ratatouille. And this is going to be for our puff pizza tart. So I'm going to get all my ingredients. Everything is chopped you don't need to sit there and watch me chopping the pepper. I'll show you how to chop some aubergine. But listen, we have some courgettes, we have some yellow and red peppers, we have some locally grown little vine tomatoes, which I love. They're lovely and sweet. And then we have a little bit of aubergine, or also known as eggplant. So I'm just going to move that out of there. So we'll just, first of all, concentrate on the eggplant. Slice this into slices. Now, not everyone likes aubergine. Aubergine is a delicious vegetable. You can roast it in the oven with a little rapeseed oil, some sliced garlic, some rosemary, and some cumin. Cumin is a beautiful spice. Works particularly well with carrots, aubergines, that kind of thing, and even lentils. Really nice. So you slice them like that, and then you cut them into long little, what we call little strips or batons, everyone. Can you all see that? Little strips of aubergine. So when I started training as a chef, I trained in Fermanagh College. And the very first week, all I did was chop. Chop, chop, chop. I didn't even cook. So it looks easy on television and when you're cooking in the kitchen, but it's all about practice. And it doesn't mean I don't cut myself. And when I do, and when I burn myself, I usually happen from threes with this. So a good sharp knife, and we'll talk about the knives later on. You always have to have a good sharp knife, and we will come back to the knives. So we have our aubergine there. We have our tomatoes. We have our courgettes. And these are all locally grown. What I have here is some peppers. Thanks, Olivia. We have some yellow and red peppers. And one of the companies that I interviewed, okay, it's called Keelings. Just about maybe 5-10 minutes from Dublin Airport. And do you know how many people that have working for them? 2,000 people. 2,000 people. I mean, these are the kind of companies that are really helping our economy. You know, I'm going to bring it out of this mess, I suppose you could say, we're in at the minute, but we will get through it because we've got to believe in ourselves. But they grow strawberries, salads, peppers. You want to see the peppers the way they grow. They grow about maybe 20, 30 foot high, you know, and they grow them all year round inside. Isn't that amazing? We can grow our own peppers. So it's a very unusual technique, and you'll see it on the television. I don't want to give too much away. So if you don't like peppers, my wife Imelda doesn't like peppers. Increased tomatoes, you can use more courgettes or you can use more aubergine. So you can make it even just with tomatoes, a very simple sauce. Okay, first thing we're going to do again, we start off with the garlic. For our non-garlic, lovers, you just simply leave out the garlic. In goes the peppers, tomatoes. So it's all about your preparation, everyone. You have all your vegetables diced. What I'm making, everyone, is called ratatouille. It's like a Mediterranean vegetable stew, full of flavour, keeps well, and it's a great dish to serve with lamb, you know, with a roast chicken, with lamb, absolutely gorgeous. Pinch of salt, and then some black pepper. Some nice black pepper in there. Now, so we're using the rapeseed oil. Let this cook off. And I'm just going to put some fresh basil into it. Now, I just want to talk to you about how to keep herbs. Herbs are very delicate, same with salads. They don't like heat. They don't like it's warm in here. So damp tissue, cold, a little bit of kitchen paper, damp tissue, cold water, keeps them really moist, stops them from drying out. And when you keep them, these have gone a little bit wilted because they weren't fully covered. But when you cover your salads and your herbs, you know, they'll keep in your fridge for up to 3 to 4 or 5 days. So that's a really good tip. So damp tissue, can you see that? At the bottom, cold water, herbs, damp tissue, because basil is a really delicate herb. Thank you, Olivia. Now, this is a regular sweet basil that we're using, but in Ireland, we can grow up in 5 different varieties of basil. So can you see the technique when I'm cutting something? You curve your fingers. Okay, so there's no way you're going to cut yourself. You curve your fingers, so you're bending your fingers there. Using a good chef's knife. And this technique, or this cut here, is called a chiffonade, a little julienne of basil. Sounds very fancy, but they all originate from France, so they do. So this is sweet basil. There's a Napolina basil, which is a huge leaf of basil, about the size of the palm of your hand. And then there's one called holy basil, which is used a lot in Asian cookery. Quite spicy. Then there's another one called, did you ever see a purple basil or opal basil? Looks well, but not the flavour that this has. And then there's a beautiful, delicate one that I've only really been using for the last maybe 4 or 5 years, called bush basil. Looks like thyme, and you pick it off, and it's absolutely beautiful. We're going to put in some tomato puree into this. Okay, a couple of wee spoonfuls of that. Thanks, Olivia. And then we're going to put a little bit of water, or you can use stock. It doesn't matter. I have water here beside me. So what you're doing is gently sweating the vegetables. We don't want them to cook fully, because this is going to go into the oven. If you want to, and you can cut this really chunky for a roast leg of lamb. Go down to Michael and you get you a nice leg of lamb. You can cut this roughly, drizzle it with rapeseed oil, some rosemary, and roast it in the oven. Absolutely gorgeous. Roasted vegetables are beautiful. Now, I'm going to let that cook there just for a minute, and I just want to talk about the base for the pizza. So this is the topping. Turn down the gas. We have some puff pastry. So just get the ready roll puff pastry. Try and get the pastry that's made with butter. Okay, it's absolutely delicious. A lot of puff pastry is made with a pastry margarine. Number one, it's cheaper. It hasn't got the flavour, and it usually sticks to the top of your mouth. So just look that it does say, if you can. It's not the easiest to get, but made with butter. So you cut it out. We just use like a plate in the restaurant, like that. You bake it off. First of all, you prick it with a fork. And then what you do is you bake it off at about 180, 190. And then you're left with this. And that will take anything between, that took about 15 minutes to bake off. So we baked that this afternoon, so it's already done. Okay, you can have these done. You can have this made. So the whole thing is your preparation. That you're not going to be kind of stuck in your kitchen stressed, that you can have this made a day or two ahead. This can keep for about 2 or 3 days. So it's all about what we call mise en place. So that's our ratatouille taken care of. Next thing we're going to do is just simply get on top of, and sorry, the puff pastry is cold, by the way. It's not hot. We're just going to simply spoon this over. And this beautiful colour. Look at the colour. It's just literally jumping off the tray. So if you don't want to use puff pastry, but when you make a note, you can use pita bread. And you know the ready cooked, the little wholemeal pitas? No problem. Absolutely. Or you can buy your own pizza bases. But this is much lighter. That's why I like this. Absolutely gorgeous. Now spread that with the back of the spoon. So we happy enough with that? Any questions? You're not going to sleep with me yet? No? Oh, thank God. Okay. Well, you got a question for me? You were just waving, are you? You were scratching your ear? No, sorry. It's okay. Don't worry. I'm only joking. Okay. So, next thing is our cheese. And it's very interesting. This is a local cheese for me. This is called Boli cheese, everyone. Okay, so it's B-O-I-L-I-E. It's in your recipe booklet. This is a great cheese to start. It's a goat's cheese, but it's very mild. It's not strong. It is not strong. It is the mildest cheese you can possibly use. Now, you're so lucky. In Cork, you probably have the best cheese makers, producers in the world. Genuinely, you do. You really do. So you use a local cheese. Whatever you like, whatever you enjoy cooking with. This is marinated with pink peppercorns. Now, this is a kilo. This is a catering size. You can get small tubs of it. It used to be made in Cavan, but a local creamery in County Fermanagh has recently, probably about 2 or 3 years, taken it over. And it's just lifted its profile. It is absolutely flying. You will see this in so many shops now. And they've won loads of awards. It's a beautiful cheese, also known as Ryefield. Ryefield was the town land in Virginia, and that's the far end of Cavan. We call it the posh end of Cavan. I live in the poor end. And, and it's just up, well, about an hour and 15 minutes up the road from me. So that's the cheese. I've better put 1 or 2 little balls into it. But any cheese that you can get, that you can use. Yesterday morning we were in Kilmeaden. Yeah, do you know that? Do you know the cheddar cheese? Yeah, the fillet of cheddar. So that was very, very interesting. We went to Glanbia and we saw that. And then we went on to Flavin. So we interview and we visit 2 producers every day. Let me see, tomorrow now is the last day, and then a 2-week break. And I'm actually going to be doing some of the cooking, we're hoping, in the English market in Cork. Yeah, we're hoping to, I don't know when, it's going to be in November, but I hope if we can get a space in the English market, I'm going to be cooking live like what I'm doing to you, and you could be on TV if you turn up. Okay, so, okay everyone, what we're going to sprinkle over this is some pesto. I'm not going to show you to make it, I'm going to talk you through the process. Basil, toasted pine nuts, garlic, rapeseed oil, Parmesan cheese, salt. That's it. So easy. You can get great pesto. You know, you can make it. This is the time of year to be making it when you have lots of beautiful basil. It keeps, and what a lot of people don't realize, you can freeze pesto. Okay, so people love things they can make ahead and freeze. Now what we're going to do, everyone, we're going to bake this off. I never use greaseproof paper. This is parchment paper. And we're going to bake this off for about 10-12 minutes. Are we happy with that? What I love, and you'll see with this cheese, it won't melt and it won't go all over the tray. It'll be absolutely gorgeous. If you don't like cheese, you can put strips of smoked bacon, a little bit of smoked chicken, whatever. Just try and be creative. But this is delicious and light. So we're going to bake that off. And what I'm going to make now is the strudel. So we have our mushrooms already cooked. Okay, just going to make a little bit of room. And then we're going to get our phyllo pastry. You're a star. Thank you. Now, so I had quite a few people asking me at the first demo about celiacs. And the amount of celiacs that we get coming to the restaurant is unbelievable and growing all the time. And we'll continue to grow, to be honest with you. So we have a wonderful recipe for celiac bread that I got from a pastry chef in Donegal. It's not my recipe. I put a little twist on it, and I have her credited in my book, but it's absolutely fantastic. And if anyone would like the recipe, on the back of your recipe booklet is the website, email, the website of the restaurant. Just send an email and we'll send it on to you, no problem. Or the traditional tried and tested way, self-addressed envelope, put your name and address on the stamp. I'm from Cavan, I'm not going to buy the stamp, and we'll post it off to you, okay? Now, if you want this, okay, we're not that mean. If you want this for a celiac, you can't eat this, unfortunately. And you won't be able to eat that, unfortunately, too. But you can use celiac bread, and there's brilliant people. There's some producer, and I can't think, maybe some of you would remind me of there's a bakery that I met a year or two ago that are doing specialised in pastry for celiacs, bread, desserts. I just can't think of them, I'm sorry. But you could put this onto some nice toasted celiac bread, and you'd have the same experience. So I'm very conscious. I don't know, is there any celiacs here? Yeah, there is, okay. So it is amazing. And the bread that I'm going to, if you want the recipe, I'm not going to show you to make it, but I have it in my book. But we bake it, and we use rice bran. We used to use soya bran. It's very hard to get soya bran. We use gluten-free flour, and we also use buttermilk, sun-dried tomato pesto, and we bake it off, and there's eggs in that too. We bake it off, we slice it, and we freeze it. It goes off within 2 days. It goes off moldy. So when the customer comes into the oven under the grill, and away you go. I used to be really annoyed. We couldn't get a good recipe. And that when a celiac came into the restaurant, and all my soups, we don't put any flour into our soups. You know, and you'll see with the potato gratin. I know Thomas has his own recipe for potato gratin, he was telling me. So you're going to see me making my recipe. If you want Thomas, go over and buy a bottle of rapeseed oil, and he might give it to you. Isn't that right, Thomas? Okay, so this is 3 sheets of phyllo pastry, everyone. 1 egg, and a little bit of milk. That's what we have here. You brush this all over. Okay. And then, with the mushrooms, you just simply arrange them onto that. Now, I'm going to scrape this off because I want this, because this is parchment paper. So I don't want to waste it. Just scrape all this off. So parchment paper, everyone, is a non-stick silicone paper. Nothing will stick to it. Even when you're baking meringues or anything like that, I never use greaseproof paper in the kitchen. I think it's the biggest waste of money, to be honest with you, really. Now, the only thing I got Olivia to do is chop a little bit of flat leaf parsley. If you don't like mushrooms, I have 2 sisters who don't like mushrooms. You could cook off some leeks. You could cook off some peppers. You could add in some smoked bacon into that. Just vary it and try it. It's just delicious. If you like mushrooms, you will love this. Absolutely fantastic. Now, oops daisy, come on. So you fold over one corner. If you look in the mirror, fold over the next. And then the nearest part to you, you're just going to roll it like a Swiss roll. Oops, I nearly forgot. You need to stick this here, excuse me. Okay, so just with the egg, brush that there. It's a little bit of egg white. You can just use an egg yolk. And sometimes when you use an egg yolk, you'll get a really distinctive dark colour. And it'll be a really rich golden brown colour. So roll this here. So that's what a strudel is. The strudel is the shape and the pastry. You know, I worked in a hotel in Berlin. And there was 125 chefs in the kitchen, 7 different restaurants. And that's when I was very young. And I went over there. And the very first day I opened up, I'm going to brush this with egg wash. The very first day I started, they opened up the meat fridge. And they showed me Irish beef, Irish lamb. They were just so proud of this. And, you know, the Germans have a real strong affection for the Irish. But I learned to make strudel pastry, which is just made with oil, flour, some eggs, and a little bit of warm water. But it's a lot of work. You have to roll it really thinly. So that's why this is light, it's convenient, and it's very quick. So we're happy with that. If you want to vary a little bit, a little sprinkle of sesame seeds would have great texture. We're going to bake this in the oven. All right, I'm going to take out the goat's cheese pizza just to show you. It's not ready yet. Okay, I'm just going to get my cloth. And then what we're going to do, just be careful with this. It is hot. So this is our puff pizza. Can you see the way the cheese has still kept its shape? This one slid off. Love that. Absolutely gorgeous. And we serve this, a small one of this, maybe for a Sunday lunch or on our vegetarian menu. But trust me, if you like all these flavours, they're gorgeous and it's light. The parchment paper, non-stick. So the oven's at about 180, everyone, okay? A nice hot oven. Next thing I'm going to show you is the gratin, okay? So this is the potato gratin that we're going to do. Now, just going to get my ingredients here. Okay, so the potatoes are the base for this. In the saucepan, we're going to put milk and cream. Just going to get my saucepan here. So you'll notice with this recipe, it's not all cream. It's half milk, half cream, everyone. When you make this with all cream, it's very rich, it's very heavy. Thomas will give you his recipe. He tells me it's as nice making a roux, isn't that right? But there's no flour in this recipe. And that's the big plus. It's amazing the amount of people that make this and they come into the restaurant, and if they're celiac, they say, oh, you don't have flour. We never put flour. I've never actually seen it. Some chopped garlic. And again, for anyone that doesn't like garlic, you can infuse it with something a little bit different. Some smoked bacon is gorgeous. Absolutely gorgeous. Put it in raw. No need to put it in cooked. And it's really delicious. Some nutmeg. Coming up to Christmas, you know, you'll have your Christmas puddings. Some of you are thinking about that, are you already? Oh, that's a great response. Jesus, did I say something wrong there? Sorry. It's not even Halloween and we're talking about Christmas. Anyway, whole nutmeg. It is absolutely fantastic. And nutmeg, when you even cook a little piece of fish, it's gorgeous with some spinach. Really delicious. Sometimes it's a very dominating, it can overpower food, but it is gorgeous. And when we used to have a sick stomach, my mother used to grate some nutmeg and ginger in milk, and it's fantastic. Really, really good. I love nutmeg, I must say. It's one of my favourite spices. Okay, so grate that. Bring that to the boil. Good pinch of salt. And black pepper. So half milk, half cream, that's what we have in there. All right. Now, what we're going to do next, everyone, is we're going to slice our potatoes. Right. So you all having a good time? Yeah? Fantastic. I hope you're getting lots of tips. So this is what we call a Japanese mandolin. All right. Now, we get a tea towel there. Last week I was over in Amsterdam. I was cooking for Borbia. We were cooking Irish beef. And there was 750 chefs through the day. I had to do tastings, and the beef that I'm going to show you tonight and cook for you tonight, I'd done the exact same dish for 240 people. Small tasting. So there was myself, there was a 2 Michelin star chef, and he used it, and the company was called Schligo. Schligo is the biggest chain of cash and carries, top end, in Holland. And they use nothing but Irish beef. And what they do, they bring it in, and then they rebrand it O'Sullivan. And they use Irish lamb, Irish beef. They're the 2 best sellers, and they're so proud of this. You want to see it. They're absolutely love our beef. But we will talk about beef in a minute. But anyway, so I was there. I was doing my demonstration. There was a butcher boning away and talking about the meat and the quality. And you see, a lot of the chefs in Holland, well, a lot of the top chefs, maybe 15 to 20 of them, are part of an Irish beef club. And they use nothing but Irish beef. And that's one good thing I have to compliment Borbia on what they've done to promote, you know, Irish food. I have to say they're doing fabulous work, and they continue to do so. Last week there was a butcher there, and all the chefs have been over to Ireland, and they can see the way we look after our animals. Animal welfare is a very important issue in Holland, but they can see how natural. It's as near to organic as you'll get. Really, our beef is, and the fact that it's grass-fed, the flavour is second to none. Absolutely fantastic. So back onto our gratin. So it went really well. But the whole purpose of me telling you that is that when I was in Amsterdam, I got this gadget. But you can get it here too. It was about €40, I think I paid for it. All right? It's a mandolin. We use it for slicing. You can also do little strips of vegetables. So it's very, very useful, but it's very dangerous. Very dangerous. Trust me, I had a chef, and she's still with me, Vicky, pastry chef. She was slicing apples, cut her finger, ended up with 3 stitches. So, you know, I'm going to show you how to use it. You've got to use the guard. This will save your finger, your nails, whatever. So, Olivia, I'll just get you to check everything in the oven. That's the dish there. I've won just a little Pyrex dish. Okay? And there's wee teeth that hold the potato. Okay? The potato will hold. Use the tea towel, and then just slice away. If you don't use the tea towel, say you use that can slip. So I'm just trying to give you as many tips as I possibly can. The reason why we boil the milk and cream, everyone, is to speed up the cooking process. That's the only reason we do that. If you don't have time, you can chuck it all in the oven. It'll just take longer in the oven. Now, anybody got any questions for me? Keeping my hand flat. And you know when there's a big crowd, people are nervous. They call, I don't want to ask that question, I'm going to sound stupid. Come up to me during the interval. I'll be over there and I'll be selling copies of the book. And during the interval, we will be selling raffle tickets. And we have lots of spot prizes. And what I was going to say is that, and the first prize is dinner, bed and breakfast in my restaurant. And yeah, you'll get a booking in the next year, hopefully. It is busy, to be the truth with you. It's incredible. Like, as I told you, every weekend is gone until next July. That's amazing. That's never happened. You know, I remember standing in my restaurant and having 8 people for dinner. You know, so I remember the tough times too. So thankfully, you know, I love to be in my kitchen. And people say, my God, you must never be there. I'm there 90% of the time. But it's not that I don't trust my team. You know, I need to be doing other work too, which is very important. But it's about bringing the team with you now. You've got to take your time. This is, some sweet potato. Okay, orange flesh sweet potato. Beautiful in soup. Fantastic. So peel it with a potato peeler. Olivia had all this done. And then we're just going to slice this. So this is our potato that we do. Actually, what I might do is just, you'll see why I'm doing this in a minute. I know I'm not using the guard. Don't do this at home. There's a reason. Don't worry. There's a reason. Now, okay. See the way it's a wee bit thick on one side. Can you see that? So just take your time. Slice this. This is a wee bit firmer than regular potatoes. And always keep your hand nice and flat. Now, you can get attachments on the food processor. Just run them through. So your food processor at home. This is absolutely gorgeous. And coming up to this time of year, I said at the first demonstration, pumpkin would be beautiful in this. Absolutely gorgeous. Pumpkin is one of those, shall we say, vegetables that not many people like. It's gorgeous. Sweet potatoes, they are. Sweet potatoes, you're right. And they're absolutely gorgeous. Sweet potatoes, beautiful in a mash. Okay, just take your time when you're doing this. Okay. The flavour's gorgeous. If you want to make a soup, everyone, with sweet potatoes or pumpkin, you would dice some sweet potatoes, cook them off with some onion, like I done for the strudel, a little touch of garlic. If not, don't worry, you can leave out the garlic. And then what's absolutely beautiful is if you put in some smoked bacon, and into that then put in some smoked bacon, and put in some a spoonful of tomato puree, some stock, and also what's gorgeous is coconut milk. Delicious, really delicious. Now, so slice this. Go on, sorry. Thought someone's going to ask. Quiet. Go on, shout.
Sorry.
That's okay, don't worry.
I was just going to ask, when you're doing it with 10, what potato do you recommend?
Really good question. Really good question. Probably the most versatile and best of our Irish potatoes is the rooster. It's great. It's so. That's a really good question, and thank you for that. Super question. Really good. Our rooster, you know, they're a great potato. We steam them, we mash them. You know, you can roast them. From if you were doing chips, Morris Piper are the best by far. Absolutely gorgeous. So really good question there. Thank you for that. Now, so you can, butternut squash. It's beautiful too. Bring up now. You're going to be wondering, what's he doing with that in the tray? Is everything okay in the oven, Olivia?
Yeah.
Good girl. Thank you. Lovely. Pour this on. The reason why we do this, and this is crucial. Cream, milk, half and half. Garlic we have in that, and we also have some nutmeg in that. Salt and pepper. And the nutmeg gives beautiful flavour, so it does. No calories, it's fine, it's healthy. No. Cream is good for you, remember that. It's dairy, it's good. Cream isn't bad for you, it's only how much you eat. Please don't give me a hard time, please. You know. I must tell you a good story. Now I'm going to cover this. Where's my tin foil? Here. I was in a craft butcher afterwards. I don't know what butcher shop it was, because I do a lot of tour around the craft butchers. And this woman came up to me and she grabbed my cheeks and she said, "You're eating too much cream and butter," she said. She said, "You're always using it." Anyway, this is really important now. Okay, so there's no flour in that. Cream, half milk. And it is lighter. It is absolutely fantastic. Parchment paper, but on the tray. And the reason why we do it on the tray, this will boil over. Okay, it will. Naturally, it always does. And it will save you a lot of work. Shiny side of the tin foil. And then crunch this up, everyone. So that's what we're going to do here. Crunch it all up. Shiny side of the tin foil, reflects the heat. When you're roasting chicken, roasting any meat, shiny side. Coming up to Christmas, I know I'm going there again, but with the turkey, shiny side in. Happy enough for that? That's going to go into the oven. Okay, beautiful. And that will take, can I borrow your tea towel? I don't know where mine's gone. No, ladies. That's got you all excited when I say about the top shelf of the oven. Okay. And that will honestly take, the one we did earlier on. Can I see it there, Olivia? This is the strudel. I'll talk about that in a minute. Thanks a million. This is the one we did. No, the other one. Sorry about the gratin. Sorry. I'm confusing, yeah? Good woman. Okay. Now, so this is our gratin, which we done at the first demo this evening. So it took about an hour and 15 minutes. So that's it there. But look at the mess it makes. You can imagine that spilling on your cooker, guys. Oh, Jesus. Hammer and chisel wouldn't get that off. Okay, so and another lady said to me, now we will warm this, actually I'll pop this into the oven now, because we're going to serve this with the beef. But another lady said to me, do you not put cheese on it? Yes, normally I do. Tonight I won't, but normally I do. You warm it, and this is brilliant because this will keep in your fridge for up to 2 or 3 days. It keeps, guys, it really does, because garlic will actually act as a natural preservative. So Olivia, will we give that about 10 minutes? Will you keep an eye on that for me? No. Okay. So that's the one from the first demo. So back onto our strudel, everyone. What you're looking for is that it's golden brown and it's firm. And you can pre-cook this the day before if you want to. That's already done. I'm going to serve that up in a minute, but I want to move on to what I call the star of the show, which is the beef. So I'm just going to move this over here. We're just going to get our beef, and I'll get you just, if you don't mind, to heat the vegetables. Yeah, if you don't mind. Okay. Now I'm going to ask Michael to come up if he doesn't mind, because he's here. I hope he's here. Is he here still? Is he? God love me. Stop up listening to me. Where is he? Michael, come on up. Give him a round of applause. Where's the microphone? Have we got the microphone? Is the microphone there, Michael? Now. Okay. Should be there. Down on the floor. Was there earlier on? Now. We'll get it, don't worry. Dan will get it first. Dan saves the day. Good man, Dan. Thank you. Right. Okay. Now, come on over. This is the man. So, Michael. Hey, come on into me. Come on. Now, listen. God love you. You're listening to me for the last 2 hours. He said I'm going to have nightmares about this man. Listen, first of all, thank you for having me here.
No, you're more than welcome.
And it's a pleasure. And I went into your shop this evening, and I was so impressed. There was a great energy. There was a wonderful selection of meat. And I know you cure your own bacon, make your own sausages. The craft butcher is doing well, aren't they?
They're fighting back anyway.
They're fighting back.
Yeah.
And the reason why, and I'm sure you agree with me, that with the craft butcher and compared to the supermarket, you won't get the personal attention to detail, you won't get the personal touch, you won't get the passion. These guys have the knowledge. You're in business how long?
Well, I'm 30 years at it. But,
30 years?
Yeah, about 15 years where I am now.
And you have 2 shops?
Yeah.
One in Macroom and one in
Bantry there, just a year now.
And you have many people working for you?
Everybody included about 20.
20, isn't that some employment? 20 people, guys. That's absolutely brilliant. Well done. Now, wow. I'm jealous. You got the biggest show of the night, don't worry.
I don't.
No. You're here with your wife.
Trying to get rid of me.
You're here with your wife, and I saw some of your team. Yeah. Now, don't be so smart down the back, yeah? Can we get security in, please? Okay. But tell me, Anya, I'm going to cook the feather blade.
Right.
I'm going to cook the feather blade, and what I want you to tell me about is the lesser used cuts.
That's right.
Yeah, the secondary cuts. And me and Michael are the same opinion. I hate the word cheap cuts of meat.
No, there's no such thing. It's just they're a bit better value, that's all.
Yeah, better value.
Yeah, often they're more flavours.
I agree with you.
Yeah.
It's all about the cooking technique. And that's what people are going back to. If they're showing how to cook a cut like this, they will cook it. We're using the feather blade.
That's right.
Now, but you made a very good point to me, which I didn't realise. Go on, tell me.
Well, there's only about 3 to 4 pound of feather blade in the whole animal.
Okay.
So you'd have to, it's there for whoever wants it, but you could use the housewife's choice, or the brisket, or
the brisket
or
the
muscles out of the shoulder.
The shin of beef too.
Shin of beef would be beautiful, yeah. There's lovely marbling in that and gelatin.
Are more people going back to cooking these? What are the trends now in the shop?
A lot of people are buying oxtails for soup.
Oxtail, wow.
Yeah, it's been very popular. We don't have enough of them. Shin of bone on the bone, sliced for. What is it? Osakaboke or I can't actually the word for it. Great, but people are looking for it. Mince is getting very popular in stew. We just don't have enough mince in stew anymore.
Honestly, that's incredible.
Yeah. So they're doing lots of things with it.
Well, what I see, more people are growing their own, and more people are cooking at home, which is great.
You hear that when they come in, their own veg, and they're buying the meat, and it's kind of a big thing to cook.
Something I learned this year. I was with a good friend of yours, Hugh McGuire, in America, and
that's right.
He was saying that the butcher is the new celebrity chef. These are the future.
That's an American, not here.
No, you are. No. Give yourself, no. Give yourself some credit, because there's a great man working with you, John Hickey.
That's
He's
right.
going to change things. And what I've learned over the years is how trusted you guys are. And I've seen that from young and old going in, buying their meat. The butcher, where do you buy your meat? The butcher. The trust is there, and there's a relationship and there's a bond, and that's a very unique. I think that's a very special thing, isn't it?
It is, yeah. It's nice to have a relationship with your customer.
Yeah, and people are asking you for recipes, for tips. So you are educating people how to cook. cuts like this, aren't you?
They're keeping us interested as well.
Yeah,
With whatever
exactly.
need us.
That's it. And that's where I find the whole television, books, all that. There's a great interest in food now, isn't there?
Oh, definitely.
There really is. There really is. But listen, you're celebrating this weekend.
Well, we're 15 years old.
Yes, and tell everyone what you're offering them. Come on.
No.
Go on, there's a discount, isn't there?
There is. Well, we're 15% off for the week and off everything, off all meat, and they get 6% on their loyalty card, so they get 21% off.
Pretty decent now. What about that, guys?
Thanks very much, Nevin, for coming.
All I can say, it's an honour and a privilege to meet you and your wife. She's here, God love her, and your team. You've listened to me for the last year. I wish you continued success. Thank you very much. Well done, Michael. Thank you. Gentlemen. Thank you. Thank you. Okay. I tell you, that is an absolute gentleman. Talk about a humble guy. Wow, fantastic. Absolutely. The wares are graces there, guys. I can tell you, fantastic. Okay, everyone. This is the cut we were talking about, the feather blade. But it's the technique that is the most important thing. So whether you're using, as Michael said, the housewife cut, the shoulder, the shin, it's the same technique. Lamb shank, lamb neck, pork belly, the same technique. Okay, everyone. We're using the feather blade. It is a tough, like a connective tissue right in the middle of it, but this is a super, super cut. So what we're going to do, first of all, before we pan fry it, so this is the first stage of doing this. And Olivia, I might get you just to check the oven. I put in the gratin so I can smell it, but it might be the, shall we say, the cremated bits on the tray. Caramelized, isn't that right? We don't burn anything, we just caramelize them. Black pepper. Okay, when you're cooking meat, everyone, always bring your meat to room temperature. Whether it's a steak, never cook it from the fridge. Bring it to room temperature for about 20-25 minutes. Season it before it goes onto the pan. If you season up 20 minutes before it's going to go on, you're going to be left with a dry piece of meat. And you don't want that. Thank you very much, guys, for that. Okay. All right. In goes the meat. Rapeseed oil, and we will put butter. And we're only just going to do 2 pieces of this. Now, Olivia, I'll give you that. Thanks a million. So, now, give it a good shake. So what we're doing, everybody, is we're just sealing off the meat. Salt, black pepper. All right. Now, just give that a little shake there. What we're going to do, we're going to caramelize the outside of it. We're going to brown it and we're going to seal it in. That's where you're going to get the flavour. That's going to keep in the moisture and it's going to give fantastic flavour and colour to the actual meat. In the back pot, which I have here, Olivia has cooked off some carrots, some onions, some garlic. If you don't like garlic, leave it out. Some thyme and rosemary. So that's already cooked. Okay, I hope that's not in your way there, guys. Sorry. Now, so we let this sweat off. And this technique is known as sweating off. You're not really looking for colour, but to bring all the flavour together. Now, the oil will give the wonderful colour and the butter flavour. They both work hand in hand. The oil stops the butter from burning. So that's the message I want to get across. Okay, we have our potatoes in there. All right, I'll take them out. Now, okay, that's hot. Never ever take anything out of the oven with a damp cloth. Immediately the heat will go through it and you'll end up burning yourself. So I'm just going to pop the pizza back in because we're going to present 2 of them and we're going to get 2 people from the audience up to taste in a minute. All right, now lift up the meat, put it into a pot. I'm using a Le Creuset, any kind of pot. All those beautiful juices, don't waste them. Okay, now I'll move this over here. Okay, next thing we're going to do, everyone, is we're going to cover this with some stock. I'm going to talk about this because this is a very important part of the dish. So you've cooked off your vegetables. Okay, I'm going to pour this on and then we'll talk about it. This is beef stock, exactly. Okay, and when we make beef stock in the restaurant, I'll move it over here. When we make beef stock in the restaurant, look at how rich and thick that is. That's a homemade stock. So we get our bones, beef bones we use. I'm going to put the lid on this. And we roast off the bones with the vegetables. So 2 separate trays. And that's what gives it the colour. That's how you get the colour in the stock. There's no salt in this. So we literally put them all into a pot when they're roasted off, cover them in water, red wine, a couple of glasses, or you can use, for us we'd be using a bottle, but for yourselves at home a glass, and have a glass yourself too, of course. A couple of sprigs of rosemary and thyme, some garlic, and then you literally let that come to the boil and let it slowly simmer for about 3 hours. This one here, we cook huge quantities. Every Wednesday when the chefs come in, this is what we make. We cook this for 12 hours. That's why it's so rich and dark. Now for yourselves at home, listen, I don't want freaking you out. Who's got time to make stock? This is a very good variety of stock cubes called Callo. Kallo. It's low in salt, everyone. Stock cubes are so full of salt, absolutely full of salt. So if you're using a stock cube, throw in a glass of wine into that. Is that okay? Glass of red wine. We'll talk about the red wine when we're making the dessert in part 2. But this is some homemade stock that I'm using. Now, we're going to bring that to the boil, everyone. And then what I'm going to do is I'm just going to put it into the oven. And I'm just going to move down the tray. And we're going to literally cook that for those kind of slices of meat. Would take about maybe 3 hours to cook. 2.5, 3 hours. So you slowly cook it. You never boil it. When it comes to the boil here, you're speeding up the cooking process. This technique is known as to braise. Slowly cook. Okay, and that's what you do when you cook a stew, you're braising it. It's the same technique. Rather than on top, you're doing it in the oven. It's a better way. It's moisture, it's succulent. If you don't have one of these dishes, don't worry. Just any kind of saucepan or a tray with tin foil on it, it'll be okay. Be absolutely fine, because these are expensive, but they are good. So I'm going to serve up my first 2 dishes, and then we're going to get 2 people from the audience up to have a taste. So the very first dish we're going to do is the pizza. Now, in your recipe booklet, I've given you a recipe. I'm not going to show you to make it, but this is port, balsamic, and there's Madeira in that. Don't worry about the Madeira, but port and balsamic's important. Not expensive port, not expensive balsamic. Thanks, Olivia. Good woman. And what you do is you put them in a sauce and cook them like a honey. So you're welcome to come up, put a little dot on your finger, taste it, and tell me what you think. I think it's gorgeous. Please don't squirt it into your mouth and all over your clothes. All right? And just drizzle it over the plate. And then we have some of the pesto. Now, so in the pesto, which is the basil, the pine nuts, and when you toast nuts, everyone, any kind of nut, but pine nuts in particular, and they're probably one of the most expensive nuts you can use when you make pesto. You can make walnuts, pecan nuts. Try and vary the nuts to give really different flavour. But when you roast them in the oven or on a dry pan, it releases the natural oils. You get a beautiful flavour. Lift out off the pizza, and this is really, really light, crispy, gorgeous, absolutely beautiful. Now, I'm just going to move this out of the way. Olivia, watch yourself there. And then with this, we're just going to serve a little bit of salad. So a little bit of wild rocket, a little bit of Mansuna, and these are all locally grown. I said when Michael was up, a lot more people are cooking at home. A lot more people are growing at home. But I'm sure there's a lot of you here that said, well, we were always growing and cooking at home. But honestly, there's a huge movement now. I put up 2 polytunnels just beside the restaurant this year, and the Organic Centre in Rossinver is going to look after them for me. So I can say, and I can cook with the seasons. That's a very important thing, is to cook with the seasons, everyone. So you're using the best flavour, the best quality, and the best value. So you're winning, and also whoever's selling it to you is winning too. And that's what it's all about. That's my first dish, everyone. That's the goat cheese puff pizza. All right. Now, we'll serve up the strudel. I just want to, you can see in the mirror, lift off the lid. And that's what you don't want to happen, is to boil like that, everyone. Okay? Because if it boils like that, you're going to be left with quite a dry cut. So this is the slowly cook it. I'm going to move it back into the oven, and I'm going to turn the oven down, even though I have the garlic in it. And this isn't a fan oven, everyone. It's just a regular oven. So next thing we're going to do is just plate up our strudel. So just get my plate. Okay. And the strudel is over here. Thanks, Olivia. That's lovely. Lift it off. So we just cut into the middle of it, and then we can show it to you. Use a serrated edge knife, very important. So that's it there. Gorgeous, moist, succulent. Even if you use leeks in this, it's beautiful. Absolutely gorgeous. So cut it at an angle. Presentation is important, but you must remember one thing, that 60% of your taste goes through your nose. You know, you visually look at a dish, but the smell has got to have, that's why when you have the flu or the cold, you don't think of food, you don't want to, you don't really feel up to eating, really too much rich food. So that's cut at an angle, and this would be delicious with the beef. We're going to serve some of the Ballymaloe relish. And I met Jasmine today, and she's a really impressive woman, and her daughter, I must say, really good people. They give a beautiful spread of meats and breads, and they got it all in the English market. Like, you are so lucky here, the produce you have in Cork. It's unbelievable. You have some of the best produce anywhere in the world, not alone in Ireland, but you really are. So what I would just say to you, never ever take it for granted. When you're shopping, always think that you're supporting the local farmers, the local producers. This little balsamic and pork reduction is gorgeous. Even over a grilled piece of ribeye, something like that is beautiful, so it is. So that's my second dish, everyone. That is the wild mushroom strudel. All right, now, or the exotic mushroom strudel, we can call it. Okay, so what I'm going to do, I'm going to get 2 people up from the audience. Who will I pick now? There's a young man there. You were the very first customer. I'm sorry to point at you. I want you to come up. I hope you're not vegetarian. Come on up. We have to get a man up. And we'll pick, these ladies were up first. Will I pick you, I think, so yourself there. Will you come up and eat something? Come on up. Give them a round of applause. Come on up to me. Okay. Now. All right. Sorry for that. Okay. Now, they're going to be all jealous of you guys. So ladies first. Come on over to me here. Okay. So who have we got here? Marjorie, come on over to me. I don't bite. Okay. So how are you? Come on.
Fine, thanks. Not bad.
You like cooking?
A bit, yeah.
A bit?
A bit, yeah.
What kind of things do you like to cook?
Plain cooking more than anything.
Plain cooking.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yeah.
Would you ever go with some of these dishes?
I would, yeah.
And,
definitely.
Okay. I hope you like mushrooms.
I do.
And you like cheese and that.
Yeah.
Where did you travel from?
Macroom.
You're local. God love you. That's such a long journey. Are you enjoying tonight?
I am.
Fantastic.
Very nice.
Well, I want you to take a seat, and
Okay.
I'm going to ask you to come up in part 2 to help me with the sugar. Okay. There's no such thing as a free dinner, and I want your feedback. If you don't like anything, tell me, and if you don't like it, please don't tell them. I know, but I want to know. Because you don't. Okay. So will you go and take a seat? And Olivia will wine and dine you. Now this gentleman over here, come on over to me.
How are you?
Come on in here, good lad.
Thanks.
Come on. What's your name?
My name is John.
John, where are you from?
I'm from Waterford.
Waterford. Are you a chef?
No, I'm not at all.
You're not?
No.
I just thought when you were here one of the first here.
I was in early, yeah. No, I sell beef for a living.
You sell beef. Hey, good man. And do you work with Michael?
I have some dealings with him.
He
yeah.
has some
I do.
dealings. Fantastic. And how is life? Is it good?
Yeah, it's good. Yeah, business is good. Yeah, busy.
Nice, that's good.
So.
The farmers are doing well, aren't they?
Yeah, the farmers are
Which is
getting a good price. Yeah,
Which
so.
is good. I'm glad to hear
Yeah,
that.
it is,
Because
yeah.
I have a couple of uncles that are cattle dealers. So I hope you're going to like
They're
all
still not
that.
happy.
Well,
But
come
price
on.
is good.
But you're listening. Come here. Don't go there, please. Right. I hope you're going to enjoy this. Do you like cooking at home?
Yeah, I'm not going to have to cook, am I?
No.
Okay.
Well, come here. In part 2, I'm going to bring you up and we're going to do some sugar, just a bit of fun.
Okay.
You won't have to
fair
cook. So I'm going to get Olivia, if you take a wee seat over there. All right, and we'll chat to you in part 2. Okay, enjoy your food.
All right.
Thank you.
Thanks.
No problem. Okay. Now. Okay. Right, everyone. While Olivia is going to wine and dine them, I am going to show you. Yeah. Thanks, guys. Thanks a million. Thanks. It's not easy to be doing a demonstration and people are talking. So thank you for that. I know you're all excited and I don't know. You know. Well, it kind of spoils it for other people, but you know. Okay, right guys, we're nearly there. I know you're dying for a drink and you're probably fed up listening to me, but please, we'll be finished. Well, I'll have you out of here by 1 o'clock, I promise. I'm only joking you. 10-15 minutes we'll be done. I'm going to show you to cook spinach. And this is the way that I thought. I worked with a chef in Luxembourg called Leah Leinster, and she was the only woman ever to win the best cook in the world. And she was a demon in the kitchen. She really was. She'd make Gordon Ramsay look like a pussycat. And she was an amazing woman. And she came over, she was at my wedding, and she stayed in the restaurant. And the one thing she commented on was the flavour of our milk or cream and butter. She used all Irish beef and Irish lamb. And she's the only woman ever to win the best cook. But this is the way she cooked her spinach in the restaurant. And I'd never seen it before. Most people boil spinach. When you boil spinach, you lose a lot of the goodness. So again, we're using the rapeseed oil. And I genuinely mean that I've stopped using olive oil in the restaurant because I think this is a great product. A little bit of butter. So oil and butter. This is the technique. You'll see me doing this even when I'm doing the next program. This is the way I cook in the restaurant. We cook absolutely loads of spinach every night. Come on guys, smile. Taking your picture. No holding hands, now I'm watching. Okay, Jesus, what a sorry sight. No wine or nothing. Jesus, I'm a real Cavan man. Anyway, 2 glasses of iced water, that'll do them. Okay, everyone, I'm going to show you how to wilt spinach. Good hot pan. With the baby spinach, no need to pick the leaves. There's no need to do that. Just simply wash it. You know, this is locally grown. As I told you, I think I told you I have 2 growers in Rossinver and Leitrim. And these two guys have taught me more about produce than anyone else. And if you're listening to Lyric FM, this Friday morning, I'll be on live from the restaurant with Marty Whelan and one of my growers, Hans. Hans, he's from the Organic Centre. Hugh Maguire from the Craft Butchers. And hopefully, Tommy Bowe's father, Paul Bowe, which I do business with, BB Foods. He'll be on, but he might be going over to see his son play. Which would you do? Do you know what I mean? So if you're listening to Marty Whelan Friday morning, it'll be live from the restaurant. Okay, everyone. Spinach. Good hot pan. In it goes. All right? As soon as it goes in, it begins to crackle, and that's fine. And then we put a pinch of salt. Okay? A little bit of black pepper. And a little pinch of sugar. Wee pinch of sugar. There we go. Now, for this technique, everyone, you can do it in a wok, it doesn't really matter. It's called wilting. Wilting. You cook this. Now, so what I'm going to do, everyone, we're going to cook this, and then I'm going to show you what's going on. Look at that. Isn't that generous? Okay. So let this cook down slowly. So you start off with a big pan of spinach, and when you cook it, you say, where's it all gone? So what happens, everyone, is that it just slowly wilts down, cooks, but this is the healthiest way and the quickest way of cooking it. You're keeping the colour, you're keeping the nutrients, and there you go. It's beautiful, it's vibrant, it's green, and that's exactly what I want. Now, I'm going to wipe this because I'm going to use this in a moment. All right. Okay, thank you. So tissue paper, wrap it, and that keeps it warm and it stops it from drying out. And it will absorb all this water. There's loads of water in that. So that's a really good tip for you. Keeps it lovely and green, vibrant, keeps it warm. Right, everyone, what I'm going to do is talk about the cooked beef. Have you got it there? Okay, thanks a million. You had to put it away, you're too quick. So I showed you the raw beef, which we pan fried, and we cooked in the stock, and this is when it's cooked, everyone. So first of all, we have it wrapped in cling film. Olivia's too quick for me now. So if you get me the other wee piece here. So what we do in the restaurant, when we cook it, we let it sit in the juices. And that's why this kind of a dish is absolutely fantastic, thank you. Is brilliant cooked a day or two ahead. It really is fantastic. So this is when it's cooked, everyone. All right? You have this big bit of muscle. Can you see that there? Now that doesn't render out. Cut this here. And you can still eat round it. Okay, we're going to pan fry this. But this is the way we do it in the restaurant, and this is so, because it's been sitting out, this is so tender. I'll just show you this here. We wrap it in cling film, and the reason why we do that is really for colour, for shape. Just to get the shape on it, so remove the cling film. We serve this on a Sunday lunch. We serve one piece of this and a ribeye steak, which we cook to order, whichever way the customer wants it. And at night time, on our dinner menu, beef is our #1 seller. Nothing outsells beef. Outsells maybe 5 to 1. Everything else, it really does. It's incredible. So we have 2 different butchers, local craft butchers, and what we do is we braise it and we simply pan fry that at night. We serve a small fillet, the cheek of beef, which we cook really slowly for about another 4 to 5 hours, and we put it into a little pie. And then the last thing we do is the shin of beef. We'd serve it in a little casserole, or like a little casserole of beef, or a cassoulet with smoked bacon and mushrooms. I'm going to show you this garnish in a minute, and it flies out the door. So what we're going to do, everyone, is warm this up. But can I just show you how tender this is? This is breaking away in my hand. So that's how tender the beef is. It's absolutely gorgeous. On a good hot pan, the big piece there, and I'll just get another little small piece. You must remember that this has been sitting now here for the last hour, so you can just take it from the fridge and warm it up. But the reason why I'm doing that is when you see the beautiful crust, and texture on the outside. Thank you. Well, guys, doing okay? Beef's up next. Beef is on its way. A little bit of butter. Okay. And then we're just going to let that just very gently reheat. So that's why you can cook it ahead. Now, what Olivia did for me, everyone, is cooked off some little button mushrooms and smoked bacon. That's all that's there. Okay? It's called a bourguignon. Bourguignon is like a French, kind of like a casserole. So that's already cooked. In it goes into the pan. Olivia, will you get me a little bit of flat leaf parsley, please? Thank you. No oil in the pan, just warm this up. Now you've got to be very careful when you're turning the meat on the pan, everyone. Okay, I have the pan up full. What you're looking to do is to caramelize it. And I'll be able to show you this in a minute. It's just breaking away. It's absolutely so tender. So as Michael said, you can use other cuts. You know, housekeeper's cut. You can use different parts of the shoulder. They're the experts and they'll all prepare it for you in a shop. No problem at all. In the pan, we're going to put in some red wine, or excuse me, the beef stock, which we do put red wine in. All right. And then we're just going to finish it with a little bit of parsley. And then we're going to be ready to serve. That's going to be part one taken care of. Just chop this. During the interval, everyone, we're going to be selling raffle tickets. And I have copies of my book over there on the left-hand side if anyone would like to buy one. The Farmer's Journal cookbook, but also I have the Home Chef. Not many copies of the Home Chef, but the Country Living cookbook, which is a book that I wrote last year for the Farmer's Journal. Really, everyday cooking. You know, nothing too fancy. It's everyday food. And that's what people want. They don't want to be, you know, doing really fancy food. It's okay if you're doing it for a dinner party. You know, you want to impress people. But people want to just cook real food at home. A scone cutter into the potatoes. The first one is always the most difficult to get out. Here we go. It's my palette knife. Now, so what we did there, we deglazed the pan. Smoked bacon, which already cooked. Button mushrooms already cooked. Olivia had that done. And then we just added in some the beef stock. Now, I just want to show you this here. I love that. I love the way it's layered. You see the sweet potatoes and the regular potatoes. Fantastic. Absolutely fantastic. Thomas, you have to taste this and just tell me if you like it, because I know you're very proud of your recipe. So we'll have to send over a bit. Olivia, will you keep some for Thomas there now? That's our rapeseed oil man, because he's bragging to me that he has this recipe that is better than mine. Isn't that right, Thomas? Okay, a little bit of spinach. Lovely colour. Never ever put hot food in a cold plate. Okay? Always got to go on a hot plate. Did I say that? Hot food in a cold plate. Yeah, got that right. So this is our beef, everyone. I don't know if you can see in the mirror, but look at it. Just falling apart. Literally falls. You could eat this with a spoon. No need for a knife and fork. Now, and Olivia, if we have another plate, I'd love Michael and maybe his wife to come up and just taste a little bit. So we might put some up for them, because this is his beef that I'm using, so thank you very much. So if it's not good, it's not my fault. I'm only joking, sorry. That was a bit cheeky. Sorry. But I want his opinion, you know. So Michael, come on up. And your beautiful wife there. Can come on up to us. Now, I think you've earned it. Now, we just put a little bit. Oh, you have another plate there. So guys, we'll just put that up there. All right, send that over. We're going to get you some of the beef. Michael, you can just share it there. Is your wife gone home now? Is she there? She's embarrassed to come up, is she? Don't worry. Well, I just want you to taste the whole thing. Take it down to her. Good man. True love never dies. Good man. I'll tell you. Good lad. You're saying all the right things. Now, and then just some of this beautiful stuff. Isn't that gorgeous, guys? Little button mushroom, bacon, and then you have a bit of parsley. This is as good a dish as you'll eat anywhere. Now, Michael, I don't know if you have a knife and fork, but there you are. God bless and enjoy.
Thanks, John.
Okay, no problem. You've earned that. No problem. Have you a knife and fork for him? Right, everyone, we're going to take a break. Yippee, says you. So we're going to take about a 15-minute break, if that's okay. We're going to move on.